Hi, and welcome to episode 8 of the What Happens Next podcast. We've got a bite-sized one this week, but one where I share an insight into one of my favourite books about time. Part of the issue we've got when we're thinking about what happens next in our lives is having the self-awareness, having the introspection to be able to think about what the gaps in our well-being are. And we're doing loads of work at the minute with what happens next to build solutions that are going to help you think about well-being in a nuanced way when you're thinking about how it applies to your life. One of the first things we've built that you can use today is our What Happens Next quiz. It's free to do, takes about 5 minutes, but what it will do is give you an insight into the areas of strengths when it comes to your well-being and the areas you might want to improve. You can take the What Happens Next quiz at whathappensnext.life/quiz, and I hope it helps you in your journey to work out what happens next for you.
Welcome to the What Happens Next YouTube channel, the channel designed to help you think about the next stage of your life, whatever that may be, and how you're going to spend your time. And that's what I'm going to talk about primarily today. Where did the inspiration for this video came from? It came from, as often a lot of these videos do, from books, because I was spending some time thinking about what I wanted to record a video about, and I was perusing my old Facebook shelf, which you can't see, it's over there, but often gives me inspiration for some of the insights that I share on this channel. And the insight that I got when I was perusing my bookshelf was there was a book that might be useful to talk about that I haven't shared on the channel before. That book was published in 2019. It's by a guy called James Woolman, and the book is Time and How to Spend It. It's there, available in all your good bookshops and on your online retailers. I'm not sure how I got this book. I think somebody may have gifted it to me actually, but certainly one that's worth reading. Now, I've got a challenge with books because often I read books but then forget how insightful the content is. So when I saw this on my bookshelf, I picked it up, started reading through again, and realised that when we're thinking about what happens next, sometimes the gap isn't in money, particularly if you're working with a financial planner or you've got your own super detailed spreadsheet and you've worked out you've got enough. Sometimes the challenge is how we spend our time. And what James Woolman talks about in this book is a framework to make sure we spend time really well. Now, we're going to dig into the component parts and the framework within the book, because I think there'll be some useful insights there. But why am I talking about this? Well, my name's Chris Dames. I'm a chartered financial planner. I run my own firm called Savello, and I spend my days helping people, probably like you, work out if they've got enough to stop what they're doing at the minute and move on to the next phase of their lives. I realised a couple of years ago, and there's loads of content about the reasons why we're doing this channel on the video. Check out the video where we talk about why we're starting this channel. Certainly worth checking that out. I realised probably about 18 months ago that whilst knowing that you've got enough financially is really important, also making sure that you think about how to spend more finite resources is important too. And the most finite resource all of us have got is time. So actually, this channel is about working out how much is enough, and we talk about financial well-being and what that means for you as part of the work we're doing on this channel. But I also like to explore concepts that might help you work out what's next from a time perspective as well. And I think the book Time and How to Spend It provides us with some really useful insights. Now, In the book, it talks about a framework that we can use and some of the things that we should consider when we're creating memories, because memories are the element that we want to create. This first one is story. So what are we doing that we can tell stories about in the future? Is it memorable enough as an experience for us to tell stories about? I like travel, and certainly part of the things that I love about travel is there's always something unique, special and exciting that happens if you're traveling right, that turns into a story. Now, travel's not the only thing. In fact, time spent with family and friends, conversation, games, everything can be a story.
So at the minute, I'm spending a lot of time writing the What Happens Next book. I'm 50,000 words in as I speak to you today, and currently working to make sure that the book adds as much value as we can to people thinking about that next stage in their lives. Now, the book's not ready yet. It won't be out until sometime in 2025. I'm working hard to get it finished. But what you can do is sign up for the book waiting list. So you're one of the first people that gets access. You can simply do that by visiting whathappensnext.life/book. Join the waiting list today, and you'll be one of the first person to get access to the book and some extra goodies when it comes out.
But having those experiences that generate a story, James argues in the book, enhance our lives. One of the things we talk about quite a lot on What Happens Next is that growth as individuals. And James argues that part 2 of his framework in terms of spending time well is the act of transformation, the act of personal growth, the act of, regardless of where we are in our lives, continuing to learn, develop and grow as individuals. Now, what that looks like for me and what that might look like for you is going to be fundamentally different. But James in the book argues that that constant growth mindset, number one, the ability and desire to want to continue to learn, develop and grow, but also finding the elements that are going to challenge you a little bit and make sure that you're growing as an individual, generates both resilience but also good memories. This one is one I've been thinking about quite a lot, and you're probably watching this on YouTube, so we're probably breaking James's 3rd rule in his framework. But James suggests in the book that we spend more time offline and more time outside. Certainly I'd be an advocate of that, and I wonder how many of your memories that you really cherish, time that you know you've spent well, are with people you love and like, not via Zoom, but actually in person. Now, I've talked already in this video about spending time with people we love and like, and certainly when we think about what happens next, the reason that we focus primarily on social well-being is we know the positive impact great social relationships have on our lives. Spending time with people we love and like, and certainly my experience throughout my life and throughout the lives of some of my clients is they've often focused on work, they've often focused on building financial security and financial well-being, and actually social well-being has often taken a back seat. I'd suggest my personal experience is that in my life, I look at the women in my life and they're far better doing it than most of the men in my life and me. So I don't know if it's a bloke thing, to be honest. You can tell me in the comments. But certainly I'd suggest that spending time, and James agrees in terms of spending time well means spending time with people you love and like, and that takes focus and attention and the idea that we need to reach out to the people we love and like and set those environments up so that we do that, will be memories built and time well spent. The next part of the framework in time and how to spend it is intensity. And intensity, when they're talking about in the book, is both intensity of experience, making sure that we're doing things and we're all in, getting into that flow state, and James in the book suggests that when we're in that float state, we enjoy our time more. And the last part of the framework in the book is extraordinary. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was listening to a podcast where it was saying we never remember years in advance our commute, because we might do it every day and actually it becomes a standard part of our routine. What we remember is when we do things differently, when we've got novelty in our life. So if you're thinking about time and how you spend it, one of the things you might want to think about is doing new things, doing things you haven't experienced before, and making sure that you're building those experiences in your life. So when you look back, and when you look at those memories and you think about how you've spent your time well, you've had some more of those novel experiences. Now, I'd certainly recommend James Wellman's book, Time and How to Spend It. Certainly worth a read, but I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm really curious. How do you think you define time well spent, particularly in this phase of your life? And what changes do you think we all need to consider to make sure that we're doing it better? Please feel free to do that in the comments. Please like and subscribe, because it allows us to generate more content, build the channel, help more people navigate this awkward part of our lives where we're thinking about what happens next. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you on the channel soon.
If you've enjoyed this and you're looking for more from What Happens Next, there's one place you can find everything. Simply visit whathappensnext.life for all of the interviews we've done so far, the opportunity to take the quiz, the opportunity to sign up for the waiting list for the book, and much, much more. Hopefully that's useful and informs how you're going to spend your time in the future, hopefully more intentionally. Have a lovely week, and we'll see you next week for the podcast.